Alright, so this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero live. Let me see if I get this up here. Alright. Well, that was quite a bit of a delay between what's live going out and what I see on the screen here. But I figured I would just go live with something I was trying to work on. Robot! I have a Roomba. If you look at the wheels... One wheel is different than the other. It's supposed to be like this. This is what gives the traction. There's a spring in here that presses up. Wah, wah, wah. Hello, Pete. Oh, looks like we got a saggy wheel. So... we get this on. Wait. Ooh, little side light. The drone AI taking over. Maybe one day. A little more light on the situation. It's weird. I got light here. A light there, but then I got a shadow going right down the middle. I'm tormented in the middle. Anyway, Roomba was broken. Usually in the studio here, I have Roomba going. And yes, Raymond, I took that footage and I went on television with it. So we talked about it on live television too. I feel bad for that dealership, but I'm assuming they have insurance, because if your car lot's floating away and you lose 10 cars, that's a good chunk of money. Alright, so here. Let me tilt this down a bit. And yes, I did see that, Raymond. In here, this little cage, this is actually where the rollers go. So these would just sit into here, they would lock in, and that's what sucks up the dirt. That little brass tab is a dirt sensor, so if it senses extra dirt, it would stay over that one area more. And this whole thing moves up and down to match the wheels going up and down, or it should. This one, I don't know why, there we go. That one doesn't. The point was, oh, Pete, the point with this was, I don't have time to always vacuum down here, so it just goes by itself. Otherwise, I do have a Dyson. I have a really good Dyson. And I love it. So that's where I mostly clean the rug up there. I clean my house with that. And I love the Dyson. But if I'm not down in the studio for 5 days, dust accumulates. So that's where I like to have one of the automatic robots going. I've always loved the Roomba. I've seen other ones out there that actually use lasers. That's map the room and then actually go over the whole room based on LiDAR, essentially. The other challenge I'll show you here, right down there, that black rug, I put that there. I put that there originally. Oh, come on. I put that there originally to... I hate this tripod. Anyway, I put that there originally to cover up footsteps and to help with sound deadening. There's a lot of sound deadening I have all around the walls here, except back here, just because it kind of looks weird behind. But it gets dirty. And this is a weird thing with the Roomba. It cannot go over a black rug. Because in the front... Oh, there's the broken piece. I found it. Alright. So we got the battery right there. I took basically the cover off. And you can see the wheel flopping around there. The top here, these are sensors for heights. So essentially, it would not go down a stairwell. Because a lot of people would think if it's an automatic robot and it just goes off a stairwell, it'll just fall. Alright. But that looks for the rug. And the black rug, basically to it, looks like it's darkness. So it thinks that it's a cliff. And it won't go on the rug. And if I take it and physically put the Roomba on the rug, it gets so confused and just spins in one little circle and then just stops and says, please move Roomba. So it's got some limitations, but it's very convenient. The other ones, I'm assuming the LiDAR-based or the laser-based robot cleaners are a little bit more expensive. So we'll see about that. And you got a Raymond, I just saw you got a decent lightning show. I didn't. I just got wet. That was pretty much it. Sogginess for a little bit, and that was about it. Maybe a rumble of thunder here and there. But nothing really too impressive for me. Let's see. Central New York, Central Pennsylvania got hammered. Yeah, I saw that too. But let's just take a quick... Oh, damn it. All the dirt fell out there on the trackpad. Hold on. Hello, Anthony. Oh. Maybe? Oh, there we go. It would help if this is turned on the trackpad. Alright, so we got that. And hello, Linda. Thank you for joining. Good evening to you. So, while I had the Roomba picked up, this tiny little piece is the broken culprit. Let me see. No, I can't turn the light on. But down in here. So this wheel should always be upright. That silver thing down there, see the spring? It broke off a tiny little piece down there. And that broken piece was what I just had in my hand. If we look at the good wheel, moving the cable out of the way, see the spring there? That's what gives tension to always keep the wheel up. So, found the culprit. The good thing with these Roombas is they are very modular. And if anyone's not familiar with the term modular, like a modular home, essentially that means all these pieces can pop out. I tried to get the wheel modular piece to come out earlier. screwdrivers. You need the right one. It's a Phillips head, but it needs to be long, which this one is. It needs to be a specific size, which this one is. But it also needs a stem that is narrower. I can't get this into the hole. And without getting it into the hole, I can't get that wheel out. I also have to look up and see, I guess now that it's actually broken, if it's still under warranty. If it's not under warranty, I don't know if I'll stick with Roomba or if I'll try and look at the radar-based or the LiDAR-based one. Hey, Delvin, I just read your comment there. Yes. YouTube says, and then I've seen like Casey Neistat. He has, actually, let me look it up right now. He is one of the biggest YouTubers I've seen. Let's see. Aside from Logan Paul, but we all know what happened with Logan Paul. Here we go. Casey Neistat. 10,147,051 subscribers. Quite a bit. But also, if you look on mine, I'm at 94, I think. Yeah, I'm at 94 subscribers. I'm so close. So close. If anybody's watching this that's not subscribed, I would really appreciate this. My goal, my very first milestone I want to get to is 100 subscribers. 6 subscribers away. I know I can do it. And also, once I get to 6 subscribers, or the 6 more subscribers, then once you're at 100 subscribers, it looks like I'm able to have a custom URL for the YouTube channel. Right now, the URL for my main YouTube channel is 15 years old. It was back when I was in middle school, going high school time, long time ago. I can't believe I'm coming up on my 10-year anniversary of graduating high school. Time does fly. But anyway, that was from middle school, high school days. And now that I'm doing this professionally, at least part-time YouTuber, it needs to change. Because also I am a professional meteorologist on television. My main Twitter handle, my main Facebook meteorologist page, and my Instagram all have the same URL, and I want to try and get the YouTube one to be that. Yes, hit the bell. That is the biggest one. And there's also multiple different types of notifications, too. Let me go back to the live chat here. Just reading through your comments. Yeah, so even if you're subscribed to a specific channel, depending on the popular or the amount of subscribers of the channel, you may or may not get these notifications pushed out. But the biggest thing is if you click on the bell icon, you still may not get notified of the smaller YouTube channels like myself, because there's a couple different notification settings. There's one that would be receiving all notifications. There's another one that would be receiving some notifications, and still YouTube itself struggles with these smaller YouTube channels trying to push that out there. So that's where if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel like I am, it's a struggle. 94 subscribers, and I've been doing this since February last year. That's really when I started. And yeah, Delvin, I've seen that too. When I make sure it's set, I have that notification thing on YouTube channels I'm subscribed to send me all notifications. That doesn't necessarily mean either that I'm getting all the notifications. So it's unfortunate. YouTube is trying. And let's see. Did the National Weather Service cancel the flash flood watch? Let's take a peek. Weather.gov. Doesn't look like it. Let's just take a peek here. Come on, loading. Flash flood warning. Just west of Utica and Oneonta. Flash flood warning, Binghamton. And then the flash flood watch. Yes, Raymond, you're still in the flash flood watch. Not canceled yet. The flash flood watch remains in effect until midnight tonight. I'll just show you a quick little picture here. So the dark red, that's the flash flood warning. So those two just west of Utica and right around Binghamton. And then the green is the flash flood watch, which is in effect until midnight. And just gonna, while I have this here, I'm gonna pull up the radar. Let's go through our weather bookmarks. It's just sitting there. And yes, Delvin, when I do my Games and Storms live stream, I do schedule it. Weather podcast, I'm trying to schedule that too. Scheduling is very nice. Setting a schedule for the live streams is helpful too because it's there. And then you can push out notifications, even just manually, going to, say, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and saying, live stream 7 p.m. tonight. The biggest thing was I didn't think I was going to go live. I wasn't sure if I was able to. And it was basically taking apart the robot that I was thinking, all right, maybe I'll live stream this. Oh, also, whenever you're working on robots or electronics, you want to make sure the battery is disconnected. It was loose in there, but it actually pressed down and was turning the Roomba on. So it's still a little bit dirty, but I'll show you again in here. Alright. So this is with the bottom cover off. This big empty spot here, that's where the battery would go into. This round piece up there, that is a front wheel. Now, if you notice, there's also a dirt mark going right down the middle, but see how it's black and white? That is how the Roomba determines its speed, because it knows the distance between a black stripe and a white stripe, and depending on the rate of the black and white switching between each other, it knows how fast it's going. So that's what the colored black or the black and white wheel is there for. And then you got two wheels. These are rubberized. This one is functioning properly. See how it pushes back? And this one, floppy. And battery life. It really depends on how or what your setup is. Rugs make it a bit more of a struggle to get the Roomba through. So if you have rugs, your battery life does drop drastically. But here in the studio, I have linoleum. In my house, I have hardwood floors. Some area rugs, but mostly hardwood floors and linoleum. It can last three hours. Excuse me. So pretty decent with the battery life for the Roomba. The one other thing I am going to look at just right now, LiDAR, robot, vacuum. I don't remember the exact name of this one. Nito. That was it. Ars Technica. This was a while ago. This was 2016. Well, 2016 you consider a while ago. Just seeing if there's a new one. Nito LiDAR. Oh, it's the light. That's the actual housing. I don't want that. Oh, there's even some Roombas that are app controlled. You can use your iPhone or you can use your Android phone to control it. If I do have to end up replacing this and it's not a warranty, I don't know. Interesting to have the app controlled so I could be anywhere. But let's see. Neato. Neato. I will. This is from Ars Technica, if anybody's heard of it before. I'll actually drop this into the chat right now. So that's the link I just put in there for the article that I'm looking at. Nito Botvac connected. This is from a couple of years ago. And it shows an interesting image of the LiDAR system in action. And Delvin, yes, I have seen the evenings being cut shorter and shorter. Because, what is it? It's 8:50 right now. Let me just take a peek out the window. Trying to close the blind. The blind's not closing. There we go. Yes, it is pitch black outside right now. I remember maybe a month ago, it was like a couple of weeks before I went on the Bahamas trip, that we were talking. I think, Pete, you were mentioning that it was like 9 o'clock, and I think you're in Boston. No, Delvin, I think it was you that were saying in Boston. Or you're from Boston, that was saying it after 9. It was still a little light. Pitch black by me right now. Yeah, that means winter is coming. Let's see. Trying to go back to here. I don't know. There's no price on this one. Oh, and they're advertising that Dyson. I do gotta say, I really like my Dyson. Neato. Botvac. Oh, it's not that expensive. It was about the same price as this one, which is what, $350? Yeah, it looks like it was about $350. Overstock is overpriced at 400. Ah. Oh, and there's a bug in here. But let's see. Oh, they got a brand new D7 version for $6.99. Oh, fancy. They got an Apple Watch compatible one. Yes, Pete, sorry, I confused Velvet, and I think you're the one that said you live in, yep, in Boston. I switched you guys in my head. What time is sunset? Just want to see what time it is here. 7:54. It's before 8 o'clock. That's a little bit unfortunate now. I like the late sunsets because I haven't done a live by the fire in a while, but I was going to do that tonight, but then it started raining and it got soggy out there. Yeah, Delvin, it's pitch black much earlier now. What do you guys think of that? Do you like the later night? Do you like the night starting earlier? Do you like the sunset actually a little bit later? Laser navigation. Breakthrough laser floor plan mapping and course navigation means a deep, thorough, methodical cleaning in less time. And Raymond, yes, I prefer the summer months too. I do love snow, but I prefer the late summer nights. And Linda, I agree with you too. Yeah, I prefer the sunset later. Unfortunately, we don't have a choice unless you live at the equator, because then even the little bit of a variance there is not that much if you live around the equator. Or let's just live in Hawaii. No severe thunderstorms in the, well, rarely, I'll say. There are, Jim Cantori, if you guys are familiar with, loves thunder snow. And I have talked about this too. There was one video I did that was pretty with a bunch of the Files One Weather team. It was with Joe Chaffee, Brian Fitzgerald, Jeff Banson, and our traffic reporter Lauren Richardson. We all were together, and that was really nice. We had a little fun in the snow, but we were talking about the thunder snow. I did find it on the radar where heavy bands, as we had these bands of snow coming through, and one of them had some thunderstorms in it. And yes, Delvin, no variance right at the equator, but anywhere around the equator, the variance is still very minimal. That's the point I was trying to make, versus living, I guess you could say, near Canada. We're not that far from Canada. And Linda, I work at Verizon Fios One News. You can go. I'm there on the weekends. I'm on channel one. If you have Verizon Fios, it's channel 1 or 501. Channel 1 or 501 with Fios One News. Channel 1 or 501 with Fios One News on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. I start airing the news at 7 a.m. and I'm pretty much going until about 12 12:30. I think sometimes they go until they loop. Basically, after I leave, it's just a loop that goes until about 1 o'clock, and I do that Saturday and Sunday morning. And if you also, let me see, I do all three. We do three different regions or three different zones. So on the weekends, I am solo. During the week, there's actually two people on a shift, two meteorologists on a shift, so that it works a little bit easier. On the weekend, I guess they don't care too much. That's why I'm solo. So I do all three zones. So New Jersey, pretty much all New Jersey, although we kind of focus on northern New Jersey because I am in the New York City metro area. So market number one, New York City market. So mostly northern New Jersey. If you are from New Jersey, you know the town is basically Tom's River and north. That's kind of where we are. And then Long Island, all of Long Island, and the lower Hudson Valley, pretty much from Sullivan County south. North of Sullivan County, so that'd be, yes, you, Raymond, not in there. Boston, not in there. Have I talked about things from outside that area? Yeah. There was one morning, I don't think it was last Saturday, I think it was the Saturday before, was a tornado. So we had storms roll through. So I think it was this Saturday morning because this Saturday morning was pretty active. It was one of these two past Saturdays where there was a tornado, storms that rolled through the lower Hudson Valley. Didn't do anything, no severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warning or anything like that. But once it got into Massachusetts, tornado warning. Not near Boston. It was in the central Massachusetts. That's where this tornado warning was. I mentioned it. Nothing really focusing on it because our local news, we focus on those specific regions. Oh, I was going to get this. So, for instance, I just picked one at random. Lower Hudson Valley. So, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, if you guys want to watch as well, I will post this here. So, it's going to be live right now, which the evening people are Joe Chaffee and Joe Rayo. So, if you want to watch me live, you want to watch them live, I am posting that right now. So Linda, thank you. If you thank you for at least interested. But if you want to watch, fios1news.com/Lower Hudson Valley/live. That was the one for the Lower Hudson Valley. If you want to see, if you want to see New Jersey, it'd be fios1news.com/New Jersey/live. And same thing for Long Island. Any one of those you'd see me doing Saturday morning and Sunday morning. Steve Cap? Raymond, who is Steve Cap? Oh, wow, there's a lot of analytics I'm looking at here, too. I never really delved too deeply into the YouTube analytics here, but quite interesting. News 10 ABC. Okay. Wow, Delvin, I actually never even heard of that before. That was interesting. I don't know how I feel about that for the Olympics. And Linda, you are very welcome. And Delvin, no, the stream will be over probably by then. Just because I gotta figure out the robot. But I did. If anybody didn't see it on Sunday, I think it was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. I went live with Joe Chaffee. It was a similar setup to right now, where I'm actually having my iPhone that I'm streaming from right now. That it's on a tripod, a little tripod, and I have the live stream on my computer, and I can see the chat. Similar kind of setup, except I had Skyping on the phone with Joe Chaffee, and I had my iPad on the side that I was streaming from, and I was holding the iPad to show Joe Chaffee, and the computer on the side was the WSI or the Weather Services International, something like that. Basically, it's the weather graphics, the professional weather graphics. Okay. I don't really know too many other central and northern New York states or New England um, news stations. I know a couple in Connecticut because I went to college in Connecticut, so we had connections with those news stations. WTNH News 8 was one of them. ABC was it NBC 30. NBC 30 was another one with Brad Field. Meteorologist Brad Field is a third generation meteorologist. So Brad Field, and then his father was Storm Field, and then I believe his father was Frank Field. So there are multiple generations there, and I believe even Brad Field's sister was a meteorologist too. So they have a whole meteorology family going on. And then Raymond, is that local news that you're talking about too, or more regional news? Because like where I am, I get a lot because I'm so close. We're pretty much in the city. I get the New York City stations, and then I get News 12 and FiOS One News. Personally, I don't have FiOS. I have News 12 just because it was cheaper. And let me just get back real quick to the robot. So I showed you before the inside pieces. So this was the shell. Almost looks like, I guess you could kind of say a face. But this was the main cover that sits on the Roomba. And it's got some screws attached to it. This is the piece that broke. Such a tiny piece. Kind of upset about that. This tiny little piece that broke off prevented the wheel from working properly. So I'll have to hold that. And it's a vacuum. So essentially, where's the dirt go? This is the bin. It's got a filter on the top. It's got a little rubber sealed gasket that goes into the bin there. And the main motor that spins and creates the suction is, where is that? It's in here. Right in the bottom here. I can't really see it too well, but there's that little dot. That's where the motor is for the vacuum. Or the suction. Oh, Dylan, I just read that. Because I have heard of that, because besides meteorology that I was taking as my major in college, I minored in psychology because I've always loved psychology, and I ended up taking enough classes that I qualified for the minor. Didn't even know I did. That's where another meteorologist and a friend of mine, his name's Quincy Vagel. He does a lot of storm chasing as well. But Quincy told me I should check to make sure that I did meet the or did or didn't meet the qualification for the minor if I knew I took a lot of psychology classes. And I ended up doing that. So I have a minor in psychology as well. And what you were talking about, Delvin, is something that's in the handbook for psychologists and psychiatrists. It has to do with this seasonal depression. And that happens because the darkness comes up. Darkness makes us feel sad. And when it's dark, especially on the winter solstice, the darkest day of the year, when there's more darkness than there is light, that's depressing for some people. But for anybody that's just joining, I'll give a little overview in the beginning of Robot Teardown. See, this pops out very easily? That's a functioning wheel. The little floppy wheel over there lost its spring. This tiny piece right there was what held the spring in place, and that's what gave the tension over there. It broke, so the spring is loose in there, and that's what made the womp with the wheel. So my goal with this was actually to what's this? Found something else in here I never saw before. What does it say? Serial port. There's a serial port. I haven't seen that in a while. That predates USB. So before USB, there were these serial ports. It's similar looking to the old mouse or keyboard PS2 ports. How many lightning deaths are there to date? I don't know. I just forecast the weather. I don't know about death. And Delvin, yes, I understand what you're talking about too. All right, so now my question to all of you is, what does anyone have a robot vacuum like a Roomba? And if it is it a Roomba or is it something else? Because that may be something I have to get soon. So, this is interesting. I'll also post this in the chat for anybody that may be interested. And yes, even though I am a professional meteorologist, exactly the same as a National Weather Service meteorologist, that's the government. They can see more stuff than I can. Yeah, I would like winter a lot. Linda, I was just reading yours. I would like winter a lot better if it was light longer. If the light was out longer. Even cold, I don't mind. The snow, I don't mind. In fact, I love the snow. But the darkness, yeah, I don't really like that. The one bright side to that, like, no pun intended, bright side to the dark. So for television, my shift starts at 4 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday morning. I wake up at 2 a.m. I go to bed probably around 7:30 to 8 p.m. when the sunset was at like 8:20, 8:30. Um, it was hard to fall asleep because I couldn't really block out enough of the sun. But now, if I'm going to bed around that 7:30 to 8 time, the sun's down enough where the shades that I have block out a lot of the light, so it's easier to fall asleep. And it's getting. I tried to keep the air off, but I couldn't anymore. I gotta turn the air conditioning back on. I'm not sure if this microphone is picking up the air conditioner, which is over here, but I kind of have it set more in front of me versus capturing audio behind. So I hope everybody is okay with the if you hear the air conditioner that's there, because it went up about 8 degrees in 25 minutes. Let's see. And Delvin, just reading your comment. I like what you're thinking there too, with the points there between August 5th and November 7th, May 7th. Wintertime 70-degree days. Depends on what decade that we're talking about. With climate change and global warming happening, it's not as rare as you would think now. Maybe in the 90s, in the 1990s, I should say, 70-degree winter days just rarely happened. It was pretty rare. In fact, let's choose New York City, Central Park. I will get the climate data from Central Park, and we'll go back into the 90s for a bit. Because I like Central Park specifically because the records go back to the 1800s very easily. Let's see. Okay, failed to open. Is their site down? The address isn't valid. Alright, let's try and get there another way. No. Maybe refresh. It should be this local past weather. Oh, maybe it's going now? Yay, it's going. Okay, now we're there. So we got Central Park. We're going to do preliminary monthly data. Archived. Oh, this one limits it. I guess this isn't the right one. But let's go back to, say, December 2013. Yeah, there we go. December had one 71 degree day specifically out of that whole month. The rest of the month went from the upper 40s to the low 60s to the low 30s to the upper 30s, the upper 40s, low 50s, mid 60s, and that 71 degree reading. That was a very fluctuating month. And then we'll go to the month after that, January 2014. Whew, 18 degrees as a high. Wow. 19 degrees as a high. No 70-degree readings at all in that month. And next we'll do February 2014. Nope, nothing. And Delvin, yes, you can get 70-degree readings in the winter. And Pete, just reading your comment. Oh, that's interesting. But I would see a correlation between there, Pete. Cold water pulse into the Arctic may show a change in climate coming. Oh, Delvin, the unofficial end of summer for Labor Day. That's unfortunate. I was saying, my mom's a teacher, or a teaching assistant, and the teachers go back August 20th, which is 6 days away. Less than a week is when the teachers go back. I'm not sure if Joe Chaffee scheduled anything, but usually I know he likes to have the scheduled events too with the Joe and Joe. But I was planning on doing an hour of a live stream. We're at 54 minutes, so we're just about there. Ah, I see he's gonna be streaming on Facebook. That's something that happened that we did on Sunday with our dual stream with me and Joe Chaffee. He was live on Facebook. I was live on YouTube, and he took the recording from Facebook Live and uploaded that to YouTube. Yeah, they basically climate is just average. So weird things can happen. October, you're talking about a snowstorm, the October snowstorm. I remember I was in college when we forecasted that. The year after that, that's when we had Sandy, I believe. I think they were right next to each other, or a year apart from each other. Let me see. Hurricane Sandy. And forget about all that Superstorm Sandy BS bullshit, basically. It was a hurricane. Superstorm was just a TV made up name. It's a hurricane, and it should be called Hurricane Sandy, because that's what it was. Now, knowing the insides of this, too, there was a little bit of some political fixing going on. And this is, I could do a whole, this is actually maybe part of the series I'm going to be starting with weather conspiracy theories, like the Bermuda Triangle and HARP. But with Hurricane Sandy, the reason it became Superstorm Sandy, I think, was political pressure with the National Hurricane Center. Seeing what you said there. And Delvin, yes, that's what they said. It lost the tropical storm characteristics. However, that is false. I have data that shows it did not, because I was recording all the data of this. It did not lose tropical storm characteristics before landfall. So that's why it lost. That's why they said it lost the hurricane name, was because it lost that tropical storm characteristic just before landfall. And yes, that upper low, that's something called the Fujiwara effect. Fujiwara. I'm going to see if I can post something in the link with that. Fujiwara effect. Essentially, yes, that low pressure system that was up there pulled Sandy in and made it that left hand turn. So the best way I can explain that is with planetary star systems that are orbiting each other. You have two separate planets, we'll say, but as they approach each other, they'll start to interact with each other and pull. So this is Sandy here, and this is that low pressure system. And they kind of pull in towards each other. Now, this was the big thing, too, that we were discussing. Will those two systems phase into one superstorm, you can say? But let me post this here. Let me see. Ooh, this is a nice effect. So this is right from the National Weather Service. I will post this in here. So that is a great link for an explanation and a visual of the Fujiwara effect. But back to my main discussion. Or not the stream main discussion, but the Sandy discussion. It was politically motivated, not necessarily scientifically driven. The changing of the characteristics from hurricane to extratropical system. Also, it has a sexiness factor, because if you say post-tropical cyclone Sandy on television, that doesn't have any appeal. But if you say superstorm Sandy, that has a lot of appeal. But essentially, a tropical storm or a hurricane is a warm core system. The core of it is warmer than the outskirts. When it loses that and the core becomes colder, than the outskirts of the system, a cold core system, that is what loses tropical characteristics altogether. That's one big example. There's a couple other criteria that have to deal with the dropping of tropical storms or tropical status or hurricane status into post or extra tropical. But that's the biggest thing, is losing warm core. Now, this is at night. I remember I'm sitting there, it's like 9 p.m. And with this Sandy's approaching, the temperature's going up. This is one big thing that I was looking at too, and there's a couple other things I have. But as the temperature's increasing, as the center of the hurricane is approaching, so I'm stationary where I am, the center, the low right there, as it's approaching, the temperature's going up at night. That means, and that tells me that it was a warm core system, which is tropical, not post-tropical, not extra-tropical, or maybe extra-tropical, but not post-tropical, because that's to switch over the cold core. That means it was still Hurricane Sandy when it was making landfall. I would think, yes, severe thunderstorms can become worse with climate change, because essentially this whole idea with climate change is the extremes. You have much worse storms, and basically the extremes are getting further and further apart. So you have much more extremes than you did. So yeah, it is possible. We don't know for sure. That's the scientific part of it, is there's not really a set answer to say, yes, storms are going to get worse. We don't have that data. We're not wizards. You're not a wizard, Harry. Well, let's see. Delvin, I like the post GFS Model E Coast Hurricane. Or, I even had a little fun with this too. This year, remember we had 4 nor'easters in a row? Well, one of them, I just made up a name, Norblizzicane. Norblizzicane kind of had a ring to it, and that was a very popular video. Actually, let me just pull up the statistics of my Norblizzicane video. Let's see. Let's go into the video manager. We're gonna search Norblizzicane. Norblizzicane. Yeah, that was a popular video. So my average views on a YouTube video are somewhere, say, between 15 and 30, I'd say. And Linda, I see you have to get going. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate you joining in the conversation. Have a great evening, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm not sure if I'll be in regular podcast at the green screen tomorrow. I think I might be at that car show, finally. My friend has his Corvette, and it looks like the car show is going to be on, so I'll be doing some video stuff with a Corvette tomorrow, which I'm excited for. But anyway, Norblizzicane. 73 views are on that video. And just as a reference, the video directly after that, Norblizzicane Cleanup, had 35 views. Also, just for reference, my last couple of videos. Live weather update with Joe Chaffee, 26. Weekend outlook, August 10th, 35. Oil change, August, that had 17 views. And then last week, the Not Games and Storms live stream, that had 18 views. So that's my average from what I've seen recently. I'm probably going to start seeing a little spike, because the past couple of days I had a spike in subscribers. But 73 views, so Norblizzicane really had a popularity with it. And yes, it's still a chance there. I really hope they don't cancel, because last week the storms pretty much fizzled out, and this is always on Wednesday. The storms pretty much fizzled out before they got to where the car show was, and they canceled it way, way early. So if you're watching, I would love if you contact me for a client proposal, because I have a couple of clients with my weather consulting business. So if you're part of that car show, hit me up, message me here, message me on Facebook, meteorologist Andrew Pinero, on Twitter. My email address, if you want to email me too, is andrew@weatherchaserconsulting.com. And then my main website for my business is weatherchaserconsulting.com. But anyway, I will be wrapping this up. It's a little bit over an hour since I've been live. That's pretty much it for the night. I gotta try to still figure out the Roomba thing. I figure out what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Thank you all for joining. I enjoyed the conversation with everybody. So tomorrow I'm going to try, and Joe didn't go live. Yeah, I'm not sure why. But anyway, I'm going to try and get to the car show tomorrow. The car show starts at 6 p.m. I think my friend with his Corvette wants to meet up at about 4:30 to get a good spot in the show for his Corvette. So I'm not sure if I'm going to try. I'm going to try and do a little bit of a live, not a full live stream, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of a live, not like the hour like I would at the green screen. But yeah, I'm going to try and do that maybe by the time we get there, maybe a little after. Then the show starts at 6. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a live stream while the show's going on, maybe a little bit before, but I'll let you guys know. Have a great evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you are new, just watching, hit that subscribe button, and like we mentioned before, don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live or if I upload a video. Have a great evening there, Pete, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video. And I see Joe Chaffee's live now, so I'll end so you guys can go and enjoy Joe Chaffee's live stream.